I'm going to be singing Chi por aquí, chi por allá, en la ranca de Pepito, I-I-I-O. McDonald has been planted, E-I-E-I-O.
I am going to go back onto my PowerPoint, and I'm going to go on to presenter's view. So here I have the PowerPoint portraits to fictional characters that come from the outer space. They are non-gender. They are trying to find who your pupils are, focusing on individual and family, local, national, and international identities and languages. It contains audio files, etc. And I am not important to remember here that your class is bilingual. You might be So I'm going to share my computer sound. Yes.
We are here to explore
creative multilingualism.
And here we have a suggestion to invite peer discussion in pairs, invite pupils to hold discussion in either language about what creative multilingualism is. So you can give prompts, for example, creative and multilingualism, etc. Again, by no means do we try to be prescriptive. I cannot highlight this enough because you teachers have better ideas and knowledge of your classes than us.
For us, creative multilingualism is
languages and drama together.
Okay, so here we were suggesting that the teacher said, oh yeah, creative multilingualism really is languages and drama together. Do you agree? Yes, no, a show of hands, and then pupils can put their hands up.
Do you like languages and drama?
Yes, but we first need to think about who we are.
And then you can ask them, your pupils, if they have ever thought about who they are. Depending on the level, again, P4 pupils might have a better idea and better prepared to answer that question than P1s and P2s.
We come from outer space. Our planet is called...
We speak, and I also speak.
This is...
our pet.
Okay, so here we can see that the robot speaks 2 languages. And my question to you would be, do you speak other languages at home? I speak English, Spanish, and Catalan at home. What about you? Again, if the teacher is monolingual, it doesn't matter, because then I would say, I speak English at home. What about you? And this is when we start finding out that our pupils speak languages that we even didn't know about. This was the case with one of the pupils who spoke a language with the grandparents that had not been registered in the school. So it's, you really get really interesting data from this. And our robots and our alien also have pets in outer space.
And we both love traditional music.
So here we will be talking more about music later. Do you have any examples of music, of traditional music? What is it? Have you ever been to a ceilidh? In Spain, some of the most traditional music is flamenco. Everyone knows about flamenco. Have you not seen it? And then pupils have a conversation in their home language, if they can do it in pairs, about they just need to give an example of the traditional music they have. For example, Gaelic walking songs, flamenco, African djembe drumming, salsa music, Caribbean steel drum music, Polish folk music, traditional oud, guitar-like instrument, playing tabla, etc. So here is impossible to know what your pupils will come up with. It is important if you have new arrivals, if your pupils are still learning English and might not understand the question, you use your body. So music, la la la, you know, dancing, flamenco, Kaylee, rock. Yeah, so you really want your pupils to join in. If the EAL teacher is with you, by all, everyone should be involved. But the purpose here is that pupils open up and give you examples of their of the traditional music, of traditional music.
How are we the same? How are we different?
Do you know who we are?
Okay, so here we certainly have some things in common amongst ourselves and other things which make us completely different from each other. Can you share this with the rest of the class? For example, were these below questions, were they the same as last year? Will they be the same next year, in 5 years, in 20 years? So what we want here is that pupils understand that identity is a fluid concept, and also that identity can be self-perceived and as viewed by others. Some pupils may recognize the word age, but unable to say their age in English. Invite them to say their English in their home language. So the slide shows some prompts for reflection: gender, age, religion, country of birth, country of school, education, ethnicity, hobbies, practices, event celebrations, family, friends, possessions. Some of them might be appropriate for your class, some not. The ones that are not appropriate, please remove them before you do the activity, and maybe populate the slide with other prompts.
We eat screws and bolts.
And I also drink oil, which you don't.
In this particular example, this is when we go now and we're going to start working on the worksheet. Here the question is, so foods can really vary from one place to the next, and on the worksheet provided, invite pupils to write down in their home language examples of food names in their home language, or to talk about them. This is the activity that I did at the beginning. Mi comida favorita es la tortilla de patatas, etc., and then the drawing. And then,
What languages do you speak at school and at home?
What languages does your family speak?
again, this activity is the activity that let us reflect on, well, really gain information about the languages that our pupils truly speak at home, because when you do registration, it's often that mom, dads, carers talk about the languages they speak at home. So in my case, for example, we speak English, Catalan, and Spanish. But there are other cases where pupils, you know, where the grandparents, if particularly the children have been here, particularly if the children, extended family are not here, speak other languages with their grandparents. And when you ask the questions, you know, what about extended family, uncles, grandparents, aunts, cousins, who can be living here or abroad, then you get to this type of information. And this activity is in the worksheet as well. So here is the food I love, here is the language you speak at home, and then we are going to go on to the last slide, which is your favorite children's song, which is really the activity that leads us to prepare for the multilingual performance. And I show you now.
What is your favorite lullaby or children's song?
Can you make a drawing? Can you write the words?
So as I was saying, this is the prep activity for the multilingual performance. And here we had a range of answers, really interesting. So pupils, some of them wrote a title, some of them wrote the chorus, some of them did not write anything but made really nice nice depictions of with the main characters of their songs. And then the teacher collects all this information, and later on stage 2 we can put forward all these suggestions for the students to then vote and decide on what song they would like to perform in multilingually. In our case, I will show it in stage 2. the winners were Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and Old MacDonald. It is important to highlight here that, or better said, like a recommendation for a traditional song, because if not, you will have to produce the translation from scratch. And because in stage 2, during the collaborative work, it is precisely the parents who provide the phonetic transcription of the song and audio files for everyone to learn the songs with the aid of the children. It's better that you, in order to get good parental engagement and in order to not give yourselves a lot of work and perhaps come up with oddly sounding translations, that we work with famous or traditional popular songs. Okay. So what do you think these characters are saying? I think that they are bidding us farewell. So goodbye, adios, adeu. And then I'm gonna stop sharing. If I go to the folder again, in upper primary, I have the same resources. Yeah. But instead, so I'm still interested in talking about food, gastronomy. Food is a very interesting topic to discuss. So one of the pupils whose English was still developing spoke openly for the first time, confidently stood up, talked about the traditional food in the countries he was originally coming from, and the teacher couldn't understand. So they did a search on Google, and she had a wonderful time because she opened up and could share aspects of her language and culture. For the older ones, here I have my favorite event, monument, or celebration, or the flora, fauna, or climate of my of Valencia or Zaragoza, where I am from, is continental. And the characters do guide us through this as well. So at the end of the PowerPoint, which is now all the world is our stage 2, after the what languages do you speak at school and at home, or what languages does your family speak, I now have.
Can you write a paragraph about an event, monument, or celebration that you like?
Can you write a paragraph about the flora, fauna, or climate?
Yeah, so this is how really it ends. In this case, what we want is to start a conversation about languages, and our pupils now have shared aspects of the flora, fauna. They've talked about a monument, etc. And they are in that mindset, like really prepared to start a conversation with the rest of the class and think about what they would like to perform. I will explain all that on stage 2. For now, I'm gonna say goodbye. Adios.